Breakaway. Source: ChatGPT. Detachment is a Japanese concept, which means getting rid of unnecessary items to make life simpler and fresher. This concept emphasizes removing excess items to make life simpler and more meaningful. This practice helps people focus on what's important while making objects less taxing on the mind. Separation is not just about organizing things, but also about spiritual purification, allowing people to have clearer thinking and a healthier lifestyle. Source: Wikipedia. Disengagement is a yoga concept advocated by Oki Masahiro, the founder of Okado Yoga. It was proposed in 1976 and has been popularized all over the world through the efforts of his disciple Eiko Yamashita. That is, get rid of unnecessary things, get rid of superfluous things, break away from attachment to objects, which was selected as the Japanese buzzword in 2010. Yamashita Eiko is the owner of the registered trademark Doin Shelly 3. In 2000, Yamashita Eiko began to carry out activities in various places as a clutter consultant. Second. Throwing skills. Source: ChatGPT. Here are some helpful tips when you want to make a break. Determine your goals, know exactly what you want to achieve. What areas do you want to declutter? How much space do you want to free up? Having a clear goal will help you stay motivated. Sort items, divide items into different categories, such as keep, donate, sell, throw away. This will help you handle them more easily. Ask yourself questions. When you decide whether to keep an item, ask yourself whether it has real value to you. Have you used it recently? Does it bring you joy or functionality? Follow the 90-90th rule. If you don't use an item in 90 days, or you can't come up with a real reason why you want to keep it in 90 seconds, it's best to get rid of it. Avoid emotional traps. Sometimes we keep items because we have an emotional connection with them, but that doesn't mean they still have value in our lives. It's important to learn to distinguish between emotional value and practical value. Take it step by step. Don't try to organize everything at once, it may feel overwhelming. Instead, proceed step by step, working on one area or category of items at a time. Give yourself limits, set a space limit, such as a cabinet or box, and only keep items that can fit within that limit. This forces you to be more careful about what you keep. Find the appropriate disposal method. Depending on the condition and value of the item, find the appropriate disposal method, such as donating, selling, recycling, or discarding. These tips can help you break up separation more effectively and make your life easier and more orderly. Source: Yahoo News. In recent years, detaching has become a prominent concept in the concept of storage and organization at home, and many people have successfully achieved the goal of detaching, hoping to eliminate clutter at home and make the space tidy and spacious. It further brings about the effect of relaxing the mood and eliminating boredom. However, the method of organizing to minimize items may also make many people regret losing a lot of things. Think carefully about things that are easy to regret. The reason why many people hesitate to throw away things is because they are afraid of regretting it. However, the popular concept of abandonment in recent years goes in the opposite direction, encouraging people to throw away items they no longer need. What about contradictions? In fact, as long as you master some categories that need special attention and some tips before discarding items, you can minimize the risk of regret while getting rid of clutter. Tip 1 for not regretting: which items are best to hesitate before discarding? A well-known Japanese housewife information station column shared that there are 4 items that people will most regret throwing away, namely notepads, photos, books and clothing. For example, notepads, diaries, and photos often contain important memories. If you think of past memories in the future but cannot find the records, you will inevitably feel regretful. Therefore, before discarding such items, it is recommended to re-examine them and scan and digitize the contents. This way, even if the physical photos and notebooks are no longer around, you will still have the opportunity to relive the memories in the future. As for books, most of them are cleared out because they take up space, are prone to yellowing if stored for a long time, and now that ebooks are so easy to obtain, there seems to be no reason to keep physical books at home. However, it should be noted that some out-of-print books may be difficult to obtain again in the future, or the books themselves have profound memories for you, so you need to think more carefully before parting with them. Finally, clothing is also the most common item in parting ways. Many people always throw away their old clothes, only to find that the new clothes they bought are similar in style to the discarded clothes, or they find themselves caught in the season change after sorting out a large number of clothes. The dilemma of having nothing to wear. Therefore, it is recommended to sort out the clothes of the season and give priority to clothes that are seasonal and too popular, as well as clothes that are no longer worn because of age and body changes. Tip 2 for not regretting: start on a small scale. When people are in the mood for separation, they will easily regret it later if they dispose of big things at once. First of all, you should start with simple organization around you. For example, you can start with the bags and wallets you use every day. Next, I started organizing drawers and shelves. Start with things you will never use again, things that are obviously junk, and things that have expired, and make organizing a habit. After that, we will tidy up some rooms, ranging from small to large, and complete the separation in stages. Tip 3 for not regretting, decide on homework time. After quitting and getting on track, I often forget time and become full of enthusiasm. However, working for long periods of time can easily lead to loss of concentration and dull judgment. It's possible to accidentally throw away something you shouldn't. It is recommended that when doing general cleaning, rather than doing the entire job in one day, break it up into several days. For example, what time are the working hours today? Generally speaking, deciding the working hours and completing the separation in stages can also help you develop the habit of keeping the room tidy. Tip 1. Think about why you decided to throw it away before throwing it away. Naoto Shibuya believes that the most important thing is to think about why you threw away the item in the first place. Not only can it improve the accuracy of breaking up, but it can also confirm your really don't want it intention. For example, before throwing away clothes, you must first think about it. I obviously don't want this dress, but I bought it because of the temptation of the sale, or understand that the yellow color of this dress is too bright and does not suit me, etc. There will definitely be times when I want to throw it away. Reasons for clothes. After doing this, not only can you reanalyze the reasons for throwing things away, but it can also be a trick for yourself to understand don't buy unnecessary things. Tip 2. Do the separation in the morning. Naoto Shibuya pointed out that in the evening or at night, people often have excuses not to do something. For example, if you originally planned to clean up after get off work, you will think I'm tired today after get off work, and then go to bed to spend the day. Therefore, find a free day and start breaking up in the morning, so there will be no excuses. Tip 3. Start throwing away things you can buy back. It is very good to start with things that can be bought back. For beginners, it is very dangerous to suddenly ask them to throw away items with memories such as graduation albums. When choosing what to throw away, it's also possible to regret throwing away something necessary. Therefore, things that cannot be bought back will be disposed of later. In addition, among things that can be bought back, things with repeated uses are easier to throw away. For example, there are two blue pens, one is single color and the other is multicolor. Then throw away the single color pen, because multicolor pens are enough to cover the needs of blue pens. As for clothing, it is better to throw away old underwear that has become loose. Just reduce the unnecessary things and you won't bring too many obstacles to your life. In short, first, start with things that are less easy to get rid of, such as consumables and redundant things. It's never too late to throw away clothing, furniture, things full of memories, etc. after you gain experience. Tip 4. If you are hesitant, throw it away. What should you do if you find obstacles in your decision making and it is difficult to decide whether you should give up or not? Naoto Shibuya suggested, throw it away. For example, for reporters, a voice recorder is a very important interview prop at work. It is impossible for reporters to throw away the voice recorder when they are leaving. In other words, there is no such thing as should I throw away something that is truly important? This is because once an important item is thrown away, it will cause great distress, and the item is not considered an unwanted item. Besides, if you really regret throwing it away, you can just buy it back. The worry that arises now about should I throw it away is a worry that only arises when I have this item. So it would be happier to throw it away. Furthermore, it's dangerous to keep thinking maybe you'll use it someday. Because this one day may not come at all. Many people have the order of owning items reversed. They should buy the item when they must use it, rather than preparing it for someday, which in turn creates a burden. Tip 5. Don't throw away things you don't want to throw away. If you think about renunciation carefully, you will understand that it means throwing away unnecessary things. Therefore, Naoto Shibuya believes that it is not limited to clothing, collections, and items full of memories. If you really don't want to lose them, there is no need to throw them away. The most important thing in breaking up is not what should be thrown away, but what should be kept. It is very important to keep something and what kind of self you want to be. Before throwing away things, it is very important to properly shape your ideal self. Third. Minimalist. Source: ChatGPT. A minimalist is a person who believes in a minimalist lifestyle. They pursue a simple, streamlined, and focused lifestyle, achieving inner abundance and peace by reducing material possessions and eliminating unnecessary distractions. Minimalists typically adopt some of the following actions and ideas. Curate items: they only keep items that are truly valuable to their lives, often for versatility and durability. Refuse to overspend: minimalists don't buy things blindly, but rather thoughtfully and only buy what they really need. Focus on experiences: they focus more on experiences and relationships than material possessions. Lower cost of living: by reducing material needs and living expenses, they are able to better manage their finances and have more time and resources to pursue their interests and goals. Simplify life: minimalists reduce the stress in life by simplifying the tasks and activities in daily life and focus on what is truly important. In general, minimalists pursue a simpler, more meaningful lifestyle and believe that greater happiness and satisfaction can be found by reducing material possessions and simplifying life. Source: Wikipedia. Minimalism is an art faction that emerged in the 1960s after World War II. It can also be called minimal art. It went to the extreme as a reaction against abstract expressionism and used the most original the object itself or the form is displayed in front of the viewer as a way of expression, with the intention of dispelling the author's oppression of the viewer's consciousness through the work, minimizing the sense of violence when the work appears as a text or symbol, and opening up the artistic concept of the work itself. The image space allows viewers to independently participate in the construction of the work, and ultimately become the author of the work without specific restrictions. Contemporary minimalism has gradually sublimated into a lifestyle, consumption concept, and values for the choice of items. Its core proposition is less is more, which aims to discard and delete items, less, that are unimportant, highly replaceable, and not really liked in life, so as to obtain more benefits in life, vision, and living space. Expand, reduce unnecessary and impulsive consumption and gain extra money, gain peace of mind and space to think more. Minimalism usually shows a high degree of autonomy over materials. They can be aware of the materials that are forcibly given value in life and avoid buying inferior products. Instead, they reduce fast fashion and inferior products through the concept of buying less, buying better, and using them longer. Damage to the environment and ourselves. When people have less stuff, it's easier for them to think clearly and focus on what's important. At the same time, reducing items and activities means avoiding the waste of time and money, and helps focus the two most important resources in life where they are needed most. Fourth. Stop loss. Source: ChatGPT. Stop loss is a common strategy in financial investing, the purpose of which is to minimize possible losses. When investors purchase an asset, they can set a stop loss price that automatically sells the asset once that price is hit to prevent further losses. The main principle of stop loss is to allow investors to take action to limit losses before the outcome of the investment may become worse. This helps investors maintain capital in the face of market fluctuations and adverse conditions. When setting a stop loss, investors typically consider their risk tolerance, investment objectives, and market conditions. The stop loss price can be set based on investors' analysis and expectations of the market, such as technical indicators, support and resistance levels, etc. Overall, stop loss is an important risk management tool that can help investors protect their investment portfolio and ensure that they can stop losses in time to reduce losses in adverse situations. Source: Wikipedia. Stop profit and stop loss are common words used in investments such as the stock market and futures. Stop loss is commonly known as cutting meat in mainland China and stop loss in Taiwan. In order to protect the principal, investors set a stop loss sell order, stop loss position, in advance when investing. Loss point. If the price drops to the stop loss order price, investors need to make a decisive decision and sell at the limit price or even sell at the market price immediately to prevent the price from becoming weak and continuing to fall, leading to further losses. Stop profit, which is called profit stop in Taiwan, is when investors set a target price in advance before investing. When the price reaches that price, they sell or place a profit stop order, profit stop position, profit stop point. Cash out the book profits. Basically, there are no specific standards for the stop loss level and the stop profit level, which depend on the prospects of the investment target, personal views, or external environmental factors. Fifth. Material desires. Source: ChatGPT. Material lust refers to the desire and greed for material wealth or items. This desire is usually the desire to own things, including money, fame, status, luxury goods, etc. Materialism is a natural part of being human, but when it becomes excessive, it can have a negative impact on an individual's life and mental health. Excessive materialism may lead to the following problems. Financial problems. Excessive pursuit of material possessions can lead to financial stress and debt problems as people may continually spend more than they earn. Mental health issues. Excessive pursuit of material possessions can lead to anxiety, stress, and feelings of dissatisfaction due to frustration or failure in satisfying material desires. Social problems. Excessive pursuit of material wealth may affect relationships between people, because people may pay more attention to material wealth and ignore interpersonal relationships. Environmental issues. Overconsumption and waste of resources may have negative impacts on the environment, such as overuse of energy, production of excessive waste, etc. To manage material desires, consider the following methods. Be aware of the impact of materialistic desires. Being aware of the negative impact that excessive materialistic desires can have on your life and health is the first step. Cultivate a grateful mindset. Learn to be grateful and content with what you already have, rather than constantly seeking more. Set goals. Set specific goals and focus on achieving them rather than endless pursuit of material wealth. Pursue inner enrichment. Find inner satisfaction, such as through pursuing interests and spending time with family and friends. Consume rationally. When purchasing items, think carefully about whether you really need the items and whether they fit with your values and goals. Through these methods, people can better manage their material desires and find a more balanced and satisfying lifestyle. Source: Mandarin Dictionary Revised Edition. Desire for material things. Bright. Wang Xiaoren's Records of Biography. Volume 2, It's just that material desires are covering up, so we must eliminate material desires. 6th. Consumerism. Source: ChatGPT. Consumerism is a social concept and lifestyle that attaches great importance to consumption and material wealth. In consumerism, people believe that happiness and satisfaction can be achieved by owning more items and consuming more goods. This concept is usually combined with advertising, entertainment, and culture to form a cultural atmosphere that promotes consumption. Characteristics of consumerism include pursuit of material satisfaction. Consumerists believe that material wealth and possession of items can bring happiness and satisfaction, so they work hard and earn money to buy more goods. Expressing values through consumption. In a consumerist culture, people often express their values and identity through owning specific brands, luxury goods, or trendy items. Shopping anytime, anywhere. Consumerism encourages people to shop anytime, anywhere, often through online shopping, fast consumption, and instant gratification. Overconsumption and waste. Consumerist culture often leads to overconsumption and waste of resources, which can have a negative impact on the environment. Influence of advertising and publicity. Consumerist culture is influenced by advertising and publicity, which often emphasize the value and desirability of items in order to get people to buy them. Although consumerism brings economic growth and material abundance, it also causes some negative impacts, including environmental damage, financial stress, social inequality, etc. As a result, many are calling for a rethinking of the impact of consumerism and a search for a more balanced and sustainable lifestyle. Source: Wikipedia. Consumerism refers to the ideology that believes that continued and increased consumption activities help the economy. Creating desirability and demand for goods in terms of lifestyle attitudes. More consumption is a good thing, allows capitalism to raise wages and increase consumption. Consumerism is the economic engine of developed countries, giving modern people the social and economic beliefs and collective emotions to purchase and obtain goods. However, in the field of social sciences, different fields have different definitions and interpretations of consumerism due to different intellectual traditions. This difference is also reflected in concepts and practices such as green consumerism, consumer movements, consumer protection, and consumer rights. 7th. Contentment and happiness. Source: ChatGPT. Contentment and happiness are two related but not identical concepts. Satisfaction usually refers to the degree of satisfaction with a need or desire. People feel satisfied when they get what they expect or when their needs are met. Gratification is usually temporary and can be achieved by satisfying certain material or emotional needs. Happiness refers more broadly to an overall life satisfaction and emotional state. Happiness is a more lasting and stable emotion. It not only stems from material satisfaction, but also includes satisfaction with attitude towards life, social relationships, self-realization and other aspects. Although contentment and happiness are often related, they are not exactly the same. A person may have a lot of material wealth and enjoyment but feel unhappy. Conversely, a person may not have a lot of material wealth but feel happy because they are content with what they have and who they are. Achieving happiness may include: build positive relationships. Close relationships with family and friends are important for happiness. Pursue personal goals. Setting and achieving personal goals and ambitions can bring a sense of accomplishment and happiness. Develop a positive attitude towards life. Having a positive attitude and an attitude of gratitude towards life can enhance your sense of happiness. Pursue inner enrichment. Find inner satisfaction and improve happiness through cultivating interests, exploring yourself and realizing self-worth. Find balance. Balancing work, family, social and personal time can help people maintain happiness and life satisfaction. In general, satisfaction and happiness are two important goals pursued by human beings. They have a complex and close relationship and can be achieved through a series of behaviors and lifestyles. Source: Tianxia Magazine. When many people face questions like the meaning of life, they will answer, just be happy. At first glance, it seems to be a kind of progress, because it means that people have put aside those worldly and changing goals, such as promotion, status, or even a complete life, but in fact this has become a new myth. Let me tell you something that is not dreamy. Happiness is actually a chemical reaction. When you encounter something good by chance, or when you work hard to achieve a goal, your brain will release a large amount of happiness hormones such as dopamine, endorphins, and oxytocin. Whenever a stressful, challenging or even threatening situation ends, people relax and feel a sense of comfort and joyful happiness. In other words, physiologically speaking, a state of happiness cannot be maintained for a long time. The harder you pursue, the less happiness you experience, the more you calculate your achievements, the less pleasure they bring. Happiness therefore always carries the taste of emptiness. When experiencing every beautiful moment, we are also wary of fear, worrying that things will not go well and endanger those beautiful and carefree life moments. How to get out of this dilemma of happy panic maze? Happiness research teams and happiness laboratories around the world often study not happiness, but life satisfaction or subjective happiness. This feeling consists primarily of happiness, consisting of moments of joy and excitement, but it is also marred by negative emotions. From this point of view, if a person is satisfied with his or her life, including work, love, family, etc., and all his emotions and feelings are more positive than negative, this person's subjective happiness will be particularly strong. In addition, people also feel satisfied when they feel they are superior to others. We are always comparing, hoping that we have more than others, be more prestigious, more successful, and richer. Happiness is like a competition. The person who wins the Olympics of life is happy, whether he is born with good luck or because of his personal efforts. American journalist and satirist Ambrose Bierce once defined happiness as the pleasure that comes from seeing other people's misfortunes. We cannot feel happiness because what we pursue is not happiness but being happier than others. Happiness is obviously a fleeting beauty, and happiness, as the name suggests, is a joy that is quickly lost. There is still a way out of this dilemma, which is to pursue another form of happiness, to pursue a state of being able to accept even the dissatisfaction in life, to pursue good enough without ever having to achieve perfection. Status. There are always highs and lows in life. After happy moments, we will eventually return to a dull period of neither good nor bad, or even unfortunately encounter a sudden accident, which makes people fall to the bottom of their emotions in an instant. However, in fact, the little things every day make up a colorful life. Research has proven that 75% of people's happiness depends on these small things in life, while the so-called big events in life only have less than 25% impact on happiness. We all know that everything in life cannot go as planned. What is more disturbing than bad luck is often fear. We are afraid that things will not go as expected. However, life cannot always go according to plan. People who do not want to face challenges will eventually give up taking risks and stop trying. Most people always seek happiness and avoid suffering, but what people often see is just the appearance. There are many things that cannot be immediately judged as happiness or misfortune. Something may look like it has a good chance, but it may turn out to be an unexpected turn of events. On the contrary, extremely unfortunate events sometimes develop completely unexpected opportunities. Gaining is not necessarily a blessing, and losing is not necessarily a disaster. It is impossible to accumulate wisdom without setbacks, and it is difficult to gain anything without efforts. This is the so-called misfortunes and blessings depend on each other. Contentment refers to the ability to fully embrace everything in life, even the shortcomings, as much as possible. This will achieve a more lasting and purer state than pursuing fleeting happiness. No matter the ups and downs of daily life, or the test of strong winds and waves, only by experiencing them all can we truly live and understand real life. 8th. It's hard for rich people to be happy. Source: ChatGPT. Rich people can be happy, but money itself is not a guarantee of happiness. In fact, research shows that the relationship between money and happiness is not a simple straight line, but is affected by many factors. Rich people may face some special challenges that may affect their happiness. Stress caused by material wealth. Wealthy people may face greater financial stress because they need to manage more assets and wealth and deal with more complex financial issues. Social comparison. Wealthy people may fall into the trap of social comparison, competing with other wealthy people to achieve higher social status and fame. The limits of material satisfaction. Once basic needs are met, the impact of material wealth on happiness is greatly diminished. Rich people may find that having more money and possessions does not lead to lasting happiness. Lack of time. Rich people may lack time to spend with family and friends because they are busy with careers and making money, which may affect their happiness. However, wealthy people also have many opportunities and resources to pursue happiness, such as gain more freedom. Rich people can enjoy more freedom, including time freedom and financial freedom, which allows them to pursue things that they are truly interested in, thereby increasing their happiness. Enjoy luxuries and experiences. Rich people can enjoy more luxuries and luxury experiences, which may increase their enjoyment and satisfaction in life. Impact and social responsibility. Rich people can improve society through charitable donations and social contributions, which can give them a sense of accomplishment and happiness. Overall, money can provide a certain level of happiness and comfort, but true happiness comes from deeper things like relationships, self-actualization, and attitude towards life. Source: Today Weekly. In the past, we often thought that money was positively related to people's happiness. As long as you work hard to make money, you can live the happy life you want. But many studies have found that there is a tipping point in the relationship between happiness and wealth accumulation. Before the turning point, people's happiness will indeed increase as their wealth increases, but after the turning point, Even if their income continues to grow, it will be difficult for their happiness to improve significantly. We have always been concerned about how to make money, but in comparison, we pay less attention to how to spend money, or more precisely, how to use money to appropriately enhance happiness. The reason why many people cannot buy happiness with money is because they only spend money ignorantly according to the concept of consumerism. These people have not really asked themselves, what is my value ranking and what are my real needs? First of all, the biggest rule of thumb for spending money if you want to be happy is to avoid conspicuous consumption. American economics professor Robert H. Frank believes that, overall, spending money can be divided into two types, conspicuous consumption and non-conspicuous consumption. Conspicuous consumption refers to consumption for social comparison reasons, such as, everyone else has it, I can't live without it. Non-conspicuous consumption refers to consumption purely for one's own experience and use. In Chinese, showing off and not showing off have two more straightforward names, face and lining. The greater the proportion of showing off in comparison, the greater the negative impact on happiness. This phenomenon is just like the saying goes, you win face, you lose litsi. Why do so many people fall into conspicuous consumption? Conspicuous consumption is the product of modern people being kidnapped by consumerism, and it is also an important reason why people cannot buy happiness with money. As social animals, humans urgently need recognition from others, and conspicuous consumption has become an efficient way of labeling. Many times, our desires do not come from deep within ourselves, but are more likely to be products created by society. Next, I will explain the relationship between money and time, the magnitude and frequency of happiness, the process of spending money and experience, and the objects of money, etc. on happiness, and provide some practical suggestions for daily life. First of all, from the perspective of time, I would like to provide two suggestions. First, prioritize spending money on the areas that take up most of your time. Second, learn to spend money to buy time. What does it mean to prioritize spending money on the areas that take up the most of your time? You can make a list yourself to see where you spend your time throughout the day. For example, 8 hours in the office, you will use a chair, computer, noise-canceling headphones. 7 hours of sleep, you will use a mattress, pillow, and quilt. 4 hours of using social networking software and various apps, you will use your mobile phone. 1 hour to cook, kitchen utensils you will use. 40 minutes of exercise, you will wear exercise clothes, use fitness equipment, etc. The average wearing time of each piece of clothing is less than 40 hours a year, which is equivalent to only wearing it for a few minutes a day. When money is limited, I would recommend you to buy a more comfortable mattress and pillow, a comfortable chair, or a computer that runs more smoothly, etc. Because you spend a lot of time using these items every day, a good use experience can effectively improve your comfort. Expensive kitchen utensils or a fitness card you applied for following the trend may not be used a few times in a year, but will make you feel annoyed in the end. At this time, you need to be more cautious when investing this money. In addition to spending money in areas that take up more time, spending money to buy time can also increase happiness. The benefits of buying time are not limited to wealthy people. Studies have found the same effects across all income ranges. On one weekend, 60 adults were randomly assigned $40, approximately NT $1,300, to buy free time. On another weekend, $40, approximately NT $1,300, were spent on purchasing items. Research results show that spending money to buy time has a higher happiness index than buying things. Most people will get pleasant experiences through shopping, but in fact, you can also get rid of unpleasant experiences by buying free time. Buy less brand name lipstick and replace it with several opportunities to take a taxi home. After applying the lipstick a few times, you will no longer feel fresh about the color, and it may even be expired, but you can gain time by avoiding crowded commuting. And rest can relieve your sense of time urgency. Many people want to cook at home, but do not have time to buy vegetables and process ingredients, so they can buy semi-finished products and cook them directly when they want to cook, which is very convenient. Spend money to buy time, or more accurately, buy time-saving services. When the time at one's disposal becomes abundant and the pressure becomes less, people will be more calm and have a better living condition, and the happiness index will naturally improve. Second, to experience more and longer-lasting happiness, you can spend your money on many small pleasures rather than splurging big money all at once. If you go to simple restaurants with your partner to dine more often, the accumulated happiness will actually be more than a luxurious feast. When watching TV dramas, watch 1 or 2 episodes a day to extend the cycle, and download them in advance and watch them all night long instead of spending money. The aftertaste is happier. Studies have found that if the money must be spent, then paying it first and enjoying the results later, especially when the expense may be painful, is better for psychological well-being. Just like booking air tickets and accommodation for a trip, the happiest time is usually the time when you are looking forward to the trip. The money has been paid, and you can still imagine all the details to extend this happiness and joy. One last tip, Spend your money on others. Is spending money for others really happier than spending money for yourself? Psychologists have conducted 2 sets of surveys. The first is to select hundreds of representative residents in the United States, investigate their happiness and annual income, and ask them how much they spend on themselves and how much they spend on others on average every month. The second is how employees spend their extra income after receiving bonuses. The results lead to 3 important conclusions. 1. No matter how much money you spend on yourself, your happiness will not change significantly. 2. The more you buy gifts and donate to others, the happier people will be. 3. No matter rich or poor, people who are willing to pay for others are happier. 9th. Reasons for hoarding. Source: ChatGPT. The reasons for hoarding may vary from person to person, but they usually come down to some of the following factors. Security and control. Some people may feel secure and in control by having more possessions. They believe that having more items can increase their sense of security in response to possible future needs or emergencies. Emotional attachment. Hoarding may be due to the need for emotional attachment, which is to fill an inner emptiness or insecurity through possession of items. Some people may view items as symbols of self-worth and increase their sense of self-worth by owning more of them. Material desires. Hoarding may be due to the desire for material wealth, that is, the belief that having more items can bring happiness and satisfaction. This may be influenced by social culture and advertising, which believe that having more items can improve the quality of life. Emotional responses. Some people may shop and hoard to cope with negative emotions, such as stress, anxiety, or depression. Shopping may temporarily improve their mood, but this is usually not long-lasting. Collecting. Some people may have a collecting bent on specific items or themes, so they hoard items out of a love and interest in that area, not necessarily to fill an emotional void or insecurity. Environmental influences. Some people may be influenced by their surroundings, such as the spending habits of family members or material values in their social circle, to hoard items. Hoarding may be a way of coping with stress and emotional distress, but in the long term it can have a negative impact on an individual's financial and mental health. Therefore, it is necessary to self-examine and understand hoarding behavior and find appropriate ways to deal with it. Source: Cigna. Hoarding disorder, commonly known as hoarding disorder, is one of the obsessive-compulsive disorders. The medical community classified hoarding disorder as a mental illness in 2013. The characteristics of hoarding disorder are something in and nothing out, or more in and less out. For example, the patient will go crazy. Purchasing items you like includes online shopping, or collecting items given by others, such as free gifts distributed on the street, or even picking up things you think are valuable outside. Since I can't discard them and I don't want to give them away to others or send them to the recycling bin, more and more items are stored, which affects my normal life. Psychiatrist Ding Xiquan once said that patients will excessively collect items that outsiders think are unnecessary but that they think are useful, thus taking up a lot of space in their homes. The items pile up like mountains, making it difficult for themselves or their families to move around, but they are unwilling to discard them. It also causes trouble for the family. Perfectionists, indecisive personalities, and those in the family who have had hoarding disorder are all at high risk for hoarding disorder. People with dementia and the elderly are also at risk of suffering from this disease, because the memory of the elderly will remain in the past and they think that items are useful. In addition, they have a stubborn personality and are unwilling to accept new things, so they are prone to hoarding behavior. Many people like to store things for good reasons. Dr. Ding emphasizes that whether accumulation of things will lead to illness depends on the degree. If the storage behavior does not affect daily life and the people around them, there will be no problem. If it reaches a certain level where you have a strong psychological reluctance to part with items and you only know how to store them but don't know how to discard them, you may have a chance of suffering from hoarding disorder. Other psychiatrists believe that patients with hoarding disorder experienced material deprivation in childhood, and later become more financially capable and tend to store items, which may reflect their extreme lack of security. In addition, after the elderly are widowed, they will remember their deceased spouse by hoarding certain items. Conclusion. Minimalist book sharing. A Family's Minimalist Life. Nippon Saharosha Editorial Department. You only need to do one thing well. The more complicated life is, the more it is necessary to use simplicity to solve problems. Schwartmund. The files are stored in the Facebook community ABayHotels News/ABayHotels Stories. https://www.facebook.com/groups/2011675095870985/files/files